This is Trailers from Hell, and I'm Mick Garris. In the 18th century, Coleridge took us down to the sea in ships in his epic poem, Rime of the Ancient Mariner. In the 19th century, Jules Verne took us underneath in the Nautilus in his classic novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And in 1954, Walt Disney brought it all to the big screen in grand fashion. In 1954, the very first Disney film to be released by their own Buena Vista distribution company was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And this is before family films meant films for kids. This was their biggest production, a sprawling, widescreen, star-studded spectacular, and released just in time for Christmas. Disney was known for paying much lower rates than the other studios, and often didn't work with the biggest box office stars of the moment. However, this was their first real movie star movie, and at the time became, not by plan, but became the most expensive movie ever made by Hollywood. It ended up being more expensive than Gone with the Wind, believe it or not. So the casting of Kirk Douglas was a real coup for Disney, and his performance is really a loose, charming, really different one. I don't think I've ever seen him sing and dance like he does here in any other movie before. He's really the essence of a movie star here and the center of the film. The scene here with the shark apparently was never planned. They were shooting underwater scenes and along came the shark, and they improvised the scene around it on the spur of the moment, which is pretty spectacular, and it's a big moment in the movie. James Mason was a terrific Captain Nemo, a driven madman who could be suave, sophisticated, and debonair at one moment, and then overtaken by his bigger-than-life character at the end of his chain the next. In an age before films were accessible at any moment for next to nothing, Disney was very successful re-releasing their big movies every 7 years or so. And they were often as successful on their reissues as they were in their first release. That's how I saw it, probably around 1961, in my jammies at the Reseda Drive-In. Of course, one of the main draws for me was Peter Lorre, a far cry from his chilling performance in M, but not too far afield from his birdsuit romp in The Raven. Disney and his studio might have had a reputation for being cheap, but this was no low-budget production. It turned into the Jaws of its day with huge cost overruns. Walt Disney was such a perfectionist that the spectacular battle with the squid had been shot in its entirety in daylight, and Disney, when he saw the scene cut together, saw all of the wires and all of the mechanical aspects of it and demanded that it be shot over at night, which they did, and that's the scene you see in the movie. This was a big popular and critical success, although it was the second highest grossing film of the year following White Christmas. This was shot on locations in Jamaica and the Bahamas with a giant crew numbering of up to 400 people at one time. The production design is one of the biggest marvels of the movie. The art direction by John Meehan and Harper Goff is astonishing, bringing to life some of the early illustrations of the Verne novels in a completely, believably fanciful way. The sets were incredible, and the interior of the Nautilus has never been improved upon. I love the dinner scene, which was obviously an influence on a similar sequence with Icky Foods in the second Indiana Jones movie.
The memorable dinner party.
Remarkable. This tastes like veal.
The flavor deceives you. That is fillet of sea snake.
I guess this isn't lamb.
That is brisket of blowfish with sea squirt dressing, basted in barnacles.
What is it?
It's a recipe of my own. Sauté of unborn octopus.
When I was a kid, there was a 20,000 Leagues attraction at Disneyland, and you got to walk through a version of the Nautilus set, see the miniature of the submarine that was used in the film, and then at the end come face to eye with the giant squid itself. And that, of course, was one of the most memorable aspects of the film, that battle with the giant squid. The effects are really quite remarkable and hold up even over 50 years later. The amazing thing is that all these terrific effects were done practically. No wonder the damn thing was so expensive. The film was directed by Richard Fleischer, son of the genius animator Max Fleischer, who ironically was Walt Disney's biggest competitor in the 1930s and 40s. For years, Richard Fleischer was the unknown Steven Spielberg of the industry. It's a big, rousing science fiction adventure and, well, okay, fun for the whole family.